The diary was pink with a brass lock, the kind you'd find in any teenage girl's bedroom. I discovered it 3 years, 2 months, and 6 days after we buried my daughter Emma. It was wedged behind her old dresser, which I'd finally gathered the courage to move while cleaning out her room. My wife Sarah had left me 18 months prior. She said she couldn't live in a house that felt like a mausoleum. She wasn't wrong. Emma's room had remained untouched since the accident. Her posters still on the walls, her clothes still folded in drawers, her half-finished homework still spread across her desk. I couldn't let go. I don't think I wanted to. The lock was rusted, but it gave way easily with a gentle twist. The first entry was dated 4 years ago when Emma was 13. I smiled despite myself, reading her complaints about school, her excitement about a boy named Tyler, her frustration with us for not letting her stay out past 9. I read for hours, watching my daughter's inner world unfold across those pages. Her handwriting evolved from bubbly and rounded to a more sophisticated script. Her concerns matured, worries about college, about whether she was pretty enough, smart enough, good enough. I learned things about my daughter I'd never known, things she'd never told me. And then I reached the entry dated the day before she died. Dad's been weird lately. I can tell he's stressed about work, but he won't talk about it. I wish he'd open up more. I wish I could tell him how much I love him, but it always feels awkward. Maybe tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. I wept. I wept like I hadn't wept since the funeral. The words blurred as tears fell onto the page, smearing ink that had dried years ago. I closed the diary and held it to my chest, breathing in the faded scent of her strawberry perfume that still somehow clung to the pages. That night I slept with the diary on my nightstand. It felt like having a piece of her back. The next morning, I opened it again, wanting to reread her final entry. But something was wrong. There was a new page, a new entry, dated yesterday. "Hi, Daddy. I'm so glad you found it." The handwriting was Emma's. I would recognize it anywhere, the way she dotted her I's with tiny circles, the slight leftward slant, the looping Y's. But this was impossible. This diary had been hidden for over 3 years. I had opened it myself. I had read every page. My hands trembled as I stared at the words. My rational mind screamed that this was a joke, a prank, some horrible mistake. But the ink was fresh. I touched it, and it smeared slightly against my fingertip. I told myself I was losing my mind. Grief does strange things to people. I'd heard of parents who swore they heard their dead children's laughter, who saw them in crowds, who felt their presence in empty rooms. This was just my subconscious, filling in what I desperately wanted to see. I put the diary in a drawer and tried to forget about it. But that night, I couldn't resist. I opened the drawer, pulled out the diary, and flipped to where I'd left off. Another entry, dated today. "You seem scared. Please don't be scared. I've wanted to talk to you for so long. It's so quiet here, Daddy. So quiet and dark. But I can see you sometimes. I watch you eat dinner alone. I watch you fall asleep on the couch with the TV on. I watch you cry when you think no one's looking. I'm always looking." I threw the diary across the room. It hit the wall and fell open, pages fluttering. I sat on the edge of my bed, my heart hammering against my ribs. This wasn't grief. This wasn't my imagination. Something was communicating with me through my dead daughter's diary. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room with every light on, the TV playing some mindless infomercial. I kept glancing toward the bedroom, half expecting to see Emma standing in the doorway, half hoping for it. By morning, I had convinced myself to approach this rationally. I was a structural engineer. I dealt in facts, in measurements, in things that could be proven. I would document everything. I retrieved the diary, photographed the new entries, and noted the time. Then I placed it on the kitchen table and set up my phone to record video of it continuously. If something was writing in this diary, I would capture it. I watched the footage for 6 hours. Nothing happened. The diary sat motionless on the table. No pages turned. No mysterious hand appeared to write new messages. But when I opened it, there was another entry. "That was clever, Daddy, but you can't see me. Not yet. The place between us is very thin, like the skin on warm milk. Do you remember how I used to hate that? How you'd always skim it off my hot chocolate for me? I remember. I remember everything. Below the text was a drawing, a crude sketch of our old kitchen seen from above, and in the corner a small figure, watching. I installed cameras throughout the house. I stayed awake for 2 days straight, surviving on coffee and fear. The diary kept filling with entries, each one more detailed, more specific, more impossible to dismiss. She wrote about the argument Sarah and I had the week before the divorce, words spoken in private behind closed doors. She wrote about the time I'd considered selling the house and moving away, a thought I'd never voiced to anyone. She wrote about the loaded gun I kept in my nightstand drawer and how she didn't want me to use it. Please don't, Daddy. Not yet. We'll be together soon enough. But not like that. Never like that. I started talking to the diary. At first, just whispered questions, feeling foolish. But then I wrote back, scrawling questions beneath her entries. Is it really you, Emma? How is this possible? Her response came within hours. It's really me, Daddy. And it's possible because you never let go. You kept my room. You kept my things. You kept the door open. Don't you understand? When you love someone that much, when you refuse to let them leave, they can't. I've been here the whole time, trapped. The word trapped made my blood run cold. Do you want to leave? I wrote. Her answer was longer this time, filling an entire page. I did at first. I was so scared when I woke up in the dark. I could hear you crying, calling my name, but I couldn't answer. I tried so hard to answer. Then I realized I wasn't alone in the dark. There are others here, Daddy. Others who got stuck between. They whisper to me. They tell me things. They told me about the diary, how I could reach you if I tried hard enough. They helped me, but they want something in return. What do they want? I wrote, my pen shaking. The next entry appeared while I was watching. I saw the pages flutter, saw the indentations forming in the paper as if pressed by an invisible pen. The words materialized slowly, deliberately. They want the door to open wider. They want to come through. And the only way to open it wider is for you to join me. Don't worry, Daddy. It doesn't hurt. I promise it doesn't hurt. I'll be right here waiting. We'll be together again just like before. Just walk upstairs to my room. The door is open. It's always been open. I looked up from the diary. The house had grown cold, so cold I could see my breath. And somewhere upstairs, I heard a door creak open. Emma's door. I should have run. Every instinct screamed at me to flee, to burn the diary, to never look back. But I thought of her smile, her laugh, the way she used to hug me so tight after a nightmare. 3 years, 2 months, and 6 days of crushing grief. 3 years of waking up and remembering every single morning that she was gone. I climbed the stairs. The hallway was dark despite the morning sun streaming through the windows at either end. The shadows seemed thicker here, more substantial. They moved at the edges of my vision, shapes that weren't quite human, watching, waiting. Emma's door was open, just as the diary had promised. A faint light glowed from within, a pale blue luminescence that pulsed like a heartbeat. I stepped inside. Her room was exactly as I'd left it, but wrong. The posters on the walls showed scenes I didn't recognize. Dark forests, empty houses, faces pressed against windows from the outside. Her stuffed animals sat in a row on her bed, but their button eyes had been replaced with something wet and gleaming. And there at her desk sat Emma. She turned to face me, and for one perfect moment, she was my daughter again, 14 years old, her hair in a ponytail, her smile lighting up the room. "Daddy," she said. "You came." I took a step forward, then another. Tears streamed down my face, and I reached out to hold her, to feel her warmth, to prove that this nightmare had an ending where I got her back. But as my fingers brushed her cheek, her smile widened, too wide, stretching past the boundaries of human expression, revealing rows of teeth that went back too far, too many, like a shark's mouth turned inside out. "I knew you'd come," said the thing wearing my daughter's face. "They all come eventually. Love is such a useful door." Behind me, I heard Emma's bedroom door slam shut. The blue light flickered and died, plunging the room into absolute darkness. And in that darkness, I felt cold hands, Dozens of them, hundreds of them, pulling me downward, downward, through the floor, through the foundation, into a place where the darkness was alive and hungry. The last thing I heard was my daughter's voice, her real voice, screaming from somewhere far away. "Daddy, no! I told you not to come. I tried to warn you. They made me write it. They made me—" Then silence. Cold. Eternal. I am still in the dark. I don't know how long it's been. Time moves differently here, if it moves at all. But I've learned what the others learned before me. I've learned how to reach through the thin places, how to leave messages in the world I left behind. My wife Sarah found the diary last week. I watched her read the new entries, watched her face cycle through grief and confusion and desperate hope. She wrote back this morning. She asked if it was really me. I told her yes. I told her I missed her. I told her the door was open and I'm waiting. I'm